Good morning, friends. Today we'll complete the rest of the portions of the polity series. So, let's begin with it. So, we had done till emergency, and now we'll start with the Planning Commission. Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. Earlier it was called Planning Commission, now it is Niti Aayog. So, let's gain some information regarding Planning Commission. So, it was a non-constitutional body. It has just advisory nature, that's why called advisory body also. Then it was constituted by a resolution of the Union Cabinet on 15 March 1950. Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman, whereas Jawaharlal Nehru is the first chairman of the Planning Commission. The first deputy chairman was Gulzari Lal Nanda, and its task was formulation of 5-year plans for India. Now coming to Niti Aayog, it is established. It was established on 1st January 2015, and it was a replacement of Planning Commission. Full name is National Institution for Transforming India. Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman, and deputy chairman is similar to the cabinet minister in the government of India, and its purpose is that it promotes the cooperative federalism. Okay, so it is based on this principle. Now we'll see the Finance Commission, whose provisions are given in Article 280, and it is being constituted every 5 years by the President, and these are its functions. First is the distribution of net proceeds of taxes between the Union and states. Then the next is grants in aid of the revenues of the states out of the Consolidated Fund of India under Article 275. Then measure for augmentation of the Consolidated Fund of the state to supplement the resources of the local bodies in the states on the basis of recommendation of the State Finance Commission. Then any other matter which the President may refer to the Commission in the interest of sound finance. अब आते हैं लोकपाल और उससे रिलेटेड इम्पोर्टेंट कमीशंस पे. तो देखिए, लोकपाल जो है वो हिंदी वर्ड है, and it means people's representative. Okay, so internationally ombudsman word is used for such post. और ये जो ombudsman एक institution है वो क्या है? It is created for the redressal of citizens' grievances at the international level, and it was first established in Sweden in 1809 AD. That is 19th century, and it was an independent supervisory agency. Now coming to the Indian context. So under Indian context, it was used for redressal of public grievances, and it is equivalent to ombudsman. And Lokpal and Lokayukt Act was passed in 2013, and President gave assent on 1st January 2014. The provision for appointment of Lokpal at the center level and Lokayukt at the state level. Now we'll see this, that the name Lokpal was given by L.M. Singhvi in 1963. The same L.N. Singhvi, who was also heading one of the committees that gave recommendations for the effective functioning of panchayats at the local government. Now, the first Lokpal of the India was Pinaki Chandra Ghosh, and there are total 8 members, out of which 4 are judicial members and 4 are non-judicial members. Now we'll see this. We've already read that it is a Swedish language, and it means representative of the people. In India it is known as Lokpal, and there is a book, Law, Liberty and Social Justice, which has been written by Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar. See, these are some of the important facts that have been given. The institution of ombudsman was first created in Sweden, and the first ARC commission was established in 1966. Who was the president? Morarji Desai. And Morarji Desai recommended in this same that there should be a Lokpal at the center and Lokayukt in the state. And a person who is or has been the Chief Justice of India or Judge of Supreme Court is qualified to be the chairperson of the Lokpal. The chairperson and each member shall continue to hold office for 5 years from the date of joining or till the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. The salary allowances and other conditions of the service of the Lokpal chairperson will be same as the Chief Justice of India. देखिए, अब सिलेक्शन कमेटी कैसे बनेगी चेयरपर्सन और मेंबर्स को अपॉइंट करने के लिए लोकपाल की. तो हम देखेंगे कि इसमें फेयरनेस मेंटेन करने के लिए सो दैट द गवर्नमेंट डू नॉट जस्ट एम्प्लॉय इट्स एजेंट ओवर देयर. सो जो कमिटी है इट कंप्राइज ऑफ पीपल विथ डाइवर्स आइडियोलॉजीज, जैसे कि हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर और LOP, देन लोकसभा स्पीकर, चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, and some eminent jurist which is nominated by the president. So with their recommendation the chairperson and the members are appointed. And if we see the current situation, the ombudsman body जो कि central level पे है वो अभी statutory body है with non-constitutional status, and this provision of a chairperson and not more than 8 members. Constitution of the institution in March 2019, first chairperson Pinaki Chandra Ghosh. Maharashtra has been the first state जिसने अभी establish किया है office of लोक आयोग in 1971, and Odisha was the first state to pass a bill relating to Lok Ayukt in 1970. And there have been some committees जो कि different purposes के लिए previously formed हुई हैं, उसको भी देख लेते हैं. जैसे कि वोरा कमेटी जो है, it is related to investigation of nexus among politicians and criminals. Then Raj Mannar Commission, it recommended the phase out of the IS/IPS which are all India services, and it was related to better center state administrative reforms, the Raj Mannar Commission. And the next is the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, which is again a non-constitutional body, and it was formed in 1993. The appointment of chairperson and members are done by the president. Composition, if we look at it, comprises of prime minister, union home minister, LOP, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both, speaker of the Lok Sabha, deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha, and its power are of advisory nature only. Now see, this year UPSC asked what is the in which part are the emergency provisions given, so you should have remember कि it is the part 80. तो हम एक बार देख लेते हैं कि कौन सा पार्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट है. देखिए हम पीछे शुरू करते हैं. 20 अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से रिलेटेड है, क्योंकि आर्टिकल 368 होता है. तो मतलब 368 हमें पता है, लेकिन देयर आर रेंज ऑफ प्रोविजंस. देन पार्ट 20 में अमेंडमेंट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, पार्ट 18 में इमरजेंसी प्रोविजंस है, फिर 17 में ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज है, 16 में ये स्पेशल प्रोविजन जो SC ST OBC एंड एंग्लो इंडियंस के लिए है वो मेंशन है. इलेक्शंस हमारे पार्ट 15 में मेंशन है, एंड सेंटर एंड यूनियन एंड स्टेट रिलेशंस पार्ट 11 में मेंशन है. देन 9A बिलोंग्स टू द म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज़, पंचायत इज़ 9. देन दिस वन हम देखा जाए तो हम जिस सीक्वेंस में पढ़ते आए हैं उसी सीक्वेंस में पार्ट भी है. तो यूनियन एंड इट्स टेरिटरी पार्ट 1, सिटीजनशिप पार्ट 2, फंडामेंटल राइट पार्ट 3, देन DPSPs पार्ट 4, फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज़ 4A, यूनियन 5 एंड स्टेट 6. तो इस तरीके से ये डिवीज़न हो रखा है. और एक बार और आप रिवाइज़ कर लीजिए, एक बार पॉज करके आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा काफ़ी. नाउ कमिंग टू द फर्स्ट ARC. When was the first ARC constituted? It was in 1966 under the chairmanship of Morarji Desai, and it suggested for establishment of Lokpal and Lokayukt in India. Then in 1967, Hanuman Thaiya was the chairman and Devrat was the member. Now some of the miscellaneous facts have been given here. When does the speaker votes? In situation of tie. And who administers the oath of the newly elected members after general election? It is the pro tem speaker, who is being nominated by the president. The one who appoints the pro tem speaker, the president in the case of Lok Sabha, and governor in case of legislative assembly. Lok Sabha speaker submits his resignation to deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha. अब हम आते हैं लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट पे. तो लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट से हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि जैसे ऑल ओवर कंट्री के लिए यूनियन गवर्नमेंट है, स्टेट के लिए जो वेरियस स्टेट्स हैं हमारे उसके लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है. तो एट द लेवल ऑफ डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, ग्राम सभा, ब्लॉक जो बॉडी है उसको हम लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट कहते हैं. कि ये बिल्कुल ग्राउंड बेस्ड है, मतलब कि ये जो गवर्नमेंट है ये एक्चुअली फुलफ़िल करती है आइडिया ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन. क्यों पावर एकदम नीचे तक जानी चाहिए, क्योंकि दे आर द पीपल. आप देखें, यू माइट बी नोइंग कि आपकी पंचायत में हेड कौन है, आपके ब्लॉक लेवल पे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे कैसी चीज़ें हो रही हैं, वो आपके लिए ज़्यादा फिजिबल होगा जानना. और दे आर मोर रीचेबल एंड एक्सेसिबल देन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ द कंट्री. तो यही कॉन्सेप्ट है डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का, जो कि एग्जीक्यूट होता है थ्रू लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट इन आवर कंट्री। नाउ अगर हम इसके हिस्ट्री में जाएं तो ब्रिटिशर्स टाइम से ये चीज़ कहीं ना कहीं देखी जा रही थी। तो लॉर्ड रिपन जो हैं, जिन्होंने 1881 से 85 तक वो गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया रहे थे। सो ही वॉज कॉल्ड द फादर ऑफ लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट इन इंडिया। एंड लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट का मतलब हो गया कि एट विलेज लेवल पे पंचायती राज सिस्टम होगा, और इन केस ऑफ अर्बन एरियाज अर्बन लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट होगा। एंड देयर आर सम कमिटीज़ और उनके अलग अलग रिकमेंडेशन है, जिसके बेसिस पे आज हम देखें तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्टेटस भी मिल चुका है इन 1992-93। सो दैट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ दिस कमिटीज़ एंड हाउ मच इम्पोर्टेंस दे गेव टू द आइडिया ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। जैसे बलवंत राय कमेटी थी, उन्होंने सजेस्ट किया था 3-tier पंचायती राज सिस्टम, and that's why he is known as the architect of Panchayati Raj, and the committee was established in 1957. How his 3-tier structure looked like? He said there should be 3-tier, like if there is a district, then there are within district there are many blocks, and within blocks there are many villages. So विलेज लेवल के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जो हैं हर विलेज से आएंगे, फिर उसके बाद उनका रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ब्लॉक वालों के साथ भी बैठेगा, ये सिर्फ ब्लॉक वाइज भी कुछ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हो जाएंगे, फिर उनका एक ग्रुप होगा, फिर उसके बाद डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे यहाँ से जो लोग आएंगे फाइनली डिस्ट्रिक्ट में होंगे। तो हम देख रहे हैं कि हर लेवल पे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव देखने मिल रहा है हमें। तो देखिए, डिस्ट्रिक्ट काउंसिल होगी एक एट द लेवल ऑफ डिस्ट्रिक्ट, पंचायत समिति होगी एट द लेवल ऑफ ब्लॉक, एंड ग्राम पंचायत होगी एट द लेवल ऑफ विलेज। सो इनका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर से भी हो रहा है और डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर से भी हो रहा है। अब हम देखते हैं 73rd कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट से हमारा पंचायती राज सिस्टम आया था, और 74th से अर्बन लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज़ द म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज़ और द अर्बन लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट आई थी। सो इसके अंदर पार्ट 9 ऐड हुआ था और 12th शेड्यूल ऐड हुआ था। एंड हाउ डज इट्स स्ट्रक्चर लुक लाइक? तो बेस्ड ऑन द पॉपुलेशन, any urban area could be categorized as to municipal corporation, which is bigger than, or municipal council और नगर पंचायत। अब हम some of the important facts देख लेते हैं इसमें जो दिए हुए हैं। So, पंचायती राज सिस्टम got constitutional status through 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. There is a provision of 1/3 reservation for women in the panchayats under Article 243D. Then पंचायती राज system came into force on April 24, 1993. The article related to Panchayati Raj system is 243 to 243O. The Panchayati Raj system was inaugurated by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on 2nd October 1959 from Nagaur. Nagaur was the first one to implement the Panchayati Raj system, and it was a 3-tier structure that was implemented over here. Now the other related committees: Ashok Mehta Committee, J.V.K. Rao Committee, L.M. Singhvi Committee, and P.K. Thankar Committee. So we have previously discussed it also, और ये हम देख सकते हैं कि 74th केम इनटू फोर्स ऑन 1st 1993। 9A जो है उसमें कहाँ से कहाँ तक आर्टिकल है 243 to 243 ZG। इंडिया हैज़ अर्बन लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ 8 टाइप। ये आप याद रखिए कि 8 टाइप, जैसे कि म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन, काउंसिल, नगर पंचायत और कैंटोनमेंट। सो काफ़ी इसमें टाइप्स हैं। फिर उसके बाद हम देखते हैं पंचायती राज। द इस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ 2-tier पंचायती राज सिस्टम वॉज सजेस्टेड बाय अशोक मेहता। अशोक मेहता व्हेन ही केम इन 1977 एंड 1957 में बलवंत राय आ चुके थे। तो अशोक मेहता ने 2-tier प्रपोज किया। और द वीक पंचायती राज सिस्टम वॉज कॉल्ड ग्रास विदाउट रूट्स बाय हुम? G.V.K. राव कमेटी, जो कि 1985 में आई थी। नाउ जनरली द टेन्योर ऑफ पंचायत इज ऑफ 5 years. ओके, एंड व्हाट इफ इट इज़ बीन डिसॉल्व बिफोर 5 years? So the next elected would work or would function only for the remaining time period. Okay. Now we see these 8 types of urban local self-government: corporation, municipality, notified area committee, town area committee, cantonment board, township, port trust, special purpose agencies. Okay. अब हम देखते हैं कि हमारे कंट्री में कितने 8, if I'm not wrong, 8 नेशनल पार्टीज़ हैं, और कुछ स्टेट लेवल भी अलग अलग स्टेट में स्टेट लेवल की पार्टीज़ का दर्जा मिला होगा। तो ये देखा जाता है कहीं ना कहीं रिकग्नाइज पार्टीज़ हैं। देखिए, रिकग्नाइज्ड हैं जो कि, और जो नॉट रिकग्नाइज्ड है। रिकग्नाइज्ड में भी some are can be said that they are national level parties, some can be said that they are state level parties. So accordingly these things are there. इसके लिए कुछ conditions है. Suppose for the national parties these conditions are there. The condition 1, any of the condition is fulfilled, then it is called the national parties. If any of the conditions here are fulfilled, then it is considered to be a state level parties. तो हम देखें, तो अगर कोई, पहले हम देखते हैं नेशनल पार्टी का दर्जा कब मिलेगा. अगर कोई पार्टी एटलीस्ट 2% ऑफ द टोटल लोकसभा सीट जीत रही है फ्रॉम एटलीस्ट 3 डिफरेंट स्टेट इन द लास्ट जनरल इलेक्शन, सो उसको नेशनल पार्टी का दर्जा मिल जाएगा. या फिर पार्टी सिक्योर्स 6% ऑफ द टोटल वैलिड वोट्स इन द एटलीस्ट 4 स्टेट्स, या तो उनके लोकसभा इलेक्शन में या तो लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली इलेक्शंस में. इसके साथ साथ एटलीस्ट 4 सीट इन द लोकसभा फ्रॉम एनी स्टेट और स्टेट्स, तब भी दर्जा मिल सकता है. एंड ऑल्सो व्हेन द पार्टी हैज़ गॉट रिकग्निशन एज स्टेट पार्टी इन एटलीस्ट 4 और मोर स्टेट. तो ये 3 कंडीशंस जो हैं हमारी नेशनल पार्टी का दर्जा दिलवाएंगे. और वहीं हम बात करें स्टेट लेवल के लिए, तो स्टेट लेवल के लिए भी काफ़ी सिमिलर ही सिचुएशन है, बस इट इज़ लिमिटेड टू 1 स्टेट. So the political party has secured minimum 6% of the valid votes and minimum 2 seats in the last general election held in particular state, or minimum 3% of the total seat in the legislative assembly, or minimum out of 3 seats, whichever is higher. And the second condition is the political party has secured a minimum of 6% of valid vote in a particular state and at least 1 Lok Sabha seat in the last Lok Sabha general election, or at least 1 seat for every 25 seat in the state be received. And the last condition for the same is the political party has secured minimum 8% of valid votes in the last Lok Sabha or legislative general election, and this condition was added in 2011. Here this is also the recent condition. Now we'll see some of the important facts. So the registration of political parties is done by Election Commission of India, and there are provisions regarding the registration of political parties under the RPA Act 1951. The recognition of a political party as a national party or a state level party is provided by Election Commission of India, and political parties got the first constitutional recognition in 1985 by 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. At present 8 national parties are there. So among these AAP has also been added, and if I'm not wrong, I think BSP has been removed. It has been revised, so you might check on the net. Let's check on the net. National parties, India. Okay, there are 6. BSP is there, CPI is there, BJP, Congress and NPP is there. So अगर इसमें देखा जाए तो कौन सी नहीं है? CPI है, BSP भी है, NPP is there, this is not, Congress no, this and this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming to the RTI Act. So RTI Act was a landmark act that was brought, and it gave the power of information to people. Like they could like it was a major right that could protect our freedom of speech, because we are able to gain information through the public authorities. Now it was passed in Lok Sabha in 25, Rajya Sabha in 2005, and in 2005 only it got the assent of the president. And it was effective in whole country except Jammu and Kashmir. It is also applicable now by the 2019 Act in Jammu and Kashmir. And some of the important facts are given. The applicant making a request for information under RTI is not required to give reasons for seeking information. Okay, and the High Court, which said that RTI should give reasons for the information, RTI applicant should give reasons, it was Madras High Court in 2014. Objective of RTI Act is to provide access of information from public office. Right to RTI is responsible to inculcate sense of responsibility in bureaucracy. RTI is a legal right. It has been considered as a part of fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. The right that is mentioned in preamble of the RTI, transparency in information, disclosure of information, informed citizenship and sovereignty of democratic ideals. देखा जाए इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजंस क्या है RTI एक्ट के. एक तो मीनिंग है राइट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन की क्या है, एंड इंक्लूडेड इन द पर्व्यू ऑफ RTI. हु आर इंक्लूडेड? द ऑफिस ऑफ CJI, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, पंचायती राज, लोकल बॉडीज which is directly or indirectly aided by the government. Then Sweden again is the first country for RTI. Sweden we saw in the case of Lokpal also, it was the first one. So Sweden here takes the lead also as well. South Africa, only country whose constitution specifically mentions RTI. Then it was Mazdoor Kishan Shakti Sangathan's movement that led to this MKSS granting of RTI. Then in 1982 case, right to information was held by Supreme Court under the Article 19(1)(a), that is freedom of speech and expression. First draft was presented in 1993. In 1996, the Press Council of India headed by P.P. Sawant presented model law on RTI, was submitted to Government of India. Then Freedom of Information Act 2002 was based on the report of the task force headed by H.D. Shore. Before the implementation of RTI Act at national level in 2005, it was the first state in the country to implement such act, Tamil Nadu. अब हम देखते हैं सम इम्पॉर्टेंट प्रोविजंस क्या हैं. तो इसमें हम देख सकते हैं इंक्लूडेड इन द राइट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन प्रोविज़न है पब्लिक इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑफिसर की, एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है PIO की कि वो 30 डेज़ के अंदर रिप्लाई करे उस चीज़ का. एंड इट इज़ इफ़ इट इज़ वेरी अर्जेंट तो 48 आवर्स के अंदर में. एंड सेक्शन 8 ऑफ द RTI एक्ट कुछ एक्सेप्शंस मेंशन करता है जिसके बेसिस पे कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी इफ नेसेसरी इन द बेसिस ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी, सिक्योरिटी, स्ट्रैटेजिक इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द नेशन, तो इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं भी दिया जा सकता. फिर हम देखेंगे ये काफ़ी मतलब एक समराइज्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन अब आगे हम देखेंगे जो कि गिवन है. और आप एक बार इसको गो थ्रू हो सकते हैं ना, बिकॉज आई डोंट थिंक सो दैट इट वुड बी गुड इनफ टू जस्ट रीड इट वन बाय वन. Rather, I think that the Constitutional Amendment Acts, the important amendment that might be discussed, because this table information is just a summary which we have already discussed. Most of it we have already discussed, and there is no point repeating the same. So we'll look at the important amendments in Indian Constitution. So First Amendment Act कब पास हुआ था? First Amendment Act में क्या था? 9 शेड्यूल ऐड हुआ था, and this schedule excluded the power of judicial review. Then 7th Amendment Act 1956 के तहत the states were reorganized on the basis of language. Then the 10th Amendment Act 1961 में Dadra and Nagar Haveli was incorporated to Indian Union. Then 11th Amendment Act 1961, the vacancy of the President Vice President cannot be challenged on the basis कि the electoral college is inappropriate. Then 1962, some more states were incorporated, Goa, Daman and Diu. 24th Amendment 1971, and Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution including fundamental right. Then 31st Amendment Act 1973, it increased the Lok Sabha seats to 545, that is at present. Then 42nd Amendment Act, also called the mini constitution, it introduced social, secular and integrity word in preamble, fundamental duties, and compelled president to had the advice of the cabinet. Then 44th Amendment Act brought in some more changes related to the fundamental rights, removal of right to property, and in adding internal disturbance in place of armed rebellion in the context of national emergency, and the reconsideration option that is there with the president in case of the bill that is presented before him. फिर हम देखते हैं 52nd Amendment Act 1985 आया, जिसमें डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ MPs और MLAs की बात कही गई थी. डिफेक्शन, इट वॉज रिलेटेड टू डिफेक्शन. देन 58th Amendment Act 1987 हिंदी लैंग्वेज को ऑफिशियल टेक्स्ट ऑफ में अवेलेबल किया गया. देन 1988 61 फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट एक्ट जो था इसने 1988 इसने रिड्यूस की हमारी वोटिंग एज फ्रॉम 21 to 18. देन 69th Amendment Act 1991 NCR NT द नेशनल टेरिटरी ऑफ दिल्ली बनाया गया. जो कि नेशनल कैपिटल रीजन था, और इसकी असेंबली भी बनाई गई. Then 73rd Amendment Act, 74th Amendment Act was related to local self government. Then 84th Amendment Act 2001, it prohibited the adjustment of Lok Sabha and state assembly seats for 25 years till 2026. Then 86th Amendment 2002, elementary education was given the status of fundamental right. इसके तहत 21A. Then 11th fundamental duty and article 42, 45 जो था वो अमेंड किया गया. देन 91st अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2003, इसमें हमने लिमिट कर दिया कि COM जो है एट मैक्स 15% ऑफ द टोटल मेंबर्स ऑफ द लोकसभा या लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली होनी चाहिए. द 97th अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2011 ब्रॉट इन द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ एंड it added part 9 and one more clause in the article 19. Then 100th Amendment Act 2015, it was related to the transfer of conclaves between India and Bangladesh. The 101st Amendment Act was related to GST. 102nd related to granting the NCBC, National Commission for Backward Classes, the constitutional status. Then 103rd Amendment Act 2019, 10% reservation was given for the economically weaker section. And then 104th Amendment Act, it extended the deadline for cessation of reservation and it abolished the Anglo-Indian quota that was there in the Lok Sabha and this legislative assemblies. Now we see that and this is an old information, it has to be updated, which are the national parties and their symbols. So yes, I think we have covered most of it, and I have tried that this video series works as a good revision for you guys, and let me know if some other series is required.